Well, hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to another training event here, specifically about all of those updates that we just covered in our recent product launch last week. And if you missed that last week, no worries at all. We're going to be going over all of those same features, but diving a little bit deeper today, getting into some of the workflows as well. But before we get into all the content, just a brief introduction. My name is Ian, part of the coaching team here at Nitrogen, and I'm joined today by Stephanie. Stephanie, how you doing today?
Hello, Ian. I'm doing well. Excited to be here and have everybody join us for a little product walkthrough.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to cover today, so we'll start moving into all of that. But just really quick, some housekeeping items for you guys. So if you joined the session, you may have noticed already that the lines are muted, but that's just so that we can focus on the content at hand. That said, we'd love to interact with you guys. So if you have questions, please drop those questions in the Q&A box inside of your Zoom window there. And then we'll be going over and having some live Q&A at the end. And then we'll have a quick little poll at the end for you guys to answer some questions about how the content and the training went today. We'd love if you could answer those for us as well. And then just a quick mention, we do have some resources. So if you go into your resources tab inside of Nitrogen, you'll be able to access those resources there going through today's session. Moving into what we'll be covering today. So, again, a lot of this stuff, or all of this stuff, is brand new. So, we'll be going over first some discovery enhancements, our research tool there, as well as an annuity improvements. We'll be going through a workflow with some annuities there and showing you guys how you can access and use those improvements, as well as stress testing retirement maps. A really cool one I'm excited about. And then we'll move into some more AI tools. So, our AI Tax Center, brand new, a great way to get some AI, some tax insights there. And then our meeting prep as well. So AI Meeting Center, we've updated and made some improvements there that we'll cover as well. So I'll mention really quick before I pass it over to Stephanie. Today we're going to be going over a lot of new features. Some of these are so new, in fact, that we don't even have access to our inside nitrogen view for you guys. So we're going to be shifting between inside nitrogen and some slides that will be going over some of these new features. So just wanted to call that out really quick. But with that, Stephanie, we'll get hopped into nitrogen really quick before I pass it over to you for some research center updates. I just really quickly want to mention how everyone can continue to get some help inside nitrogen. So if you're going through later on today, maybe later this week, and you're trying to tackle some of these new features and you get a little bit lost and you want to learn more, you can always head on over to our help tab in the right hand corner. That is a great place to access stuff like our guided tours, our knowledge base, even quick video tutorials. We have all of those in there for you guys, easily and readily available for you. And then if you need even more help there, of course, feel free to reach out to us. Our support team is always happy to help and answer those questions, and you can use those little contact tiles there to reach out to them. Okay, I won't delay us too much more here. Stephanie, I'll pass it over to you to get us into those research center updates.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Ian. So yes, first up, we're going to dive into discovery. And one of the bigger updates for discovery is now an AI-powered search. So if you have Research Center or Elite or your subscription includes discovery up at the top there. The homepage will look a little different when you land here in Discovery. So now what you're able to do, besides just altering filters and zeroing in on things that way, is you can use this search box in the middle to sort of type out more naturally what you're looking for. So maybe I want to look for tech stocks with a risk number less than 80, let's say. So you can just type out kind of in sentence format or phrase format what you're looking for. And then when you hit enter, it will search that for you. And it's creating the little sort of filters here up at the top of the page for you. So we will let to give us some feedback down at the bottom if the search filters that the system populated for you looks good or not so good. You can always give us feedback there. But this will help you populate that list. And then if you want to narrow things down from here, You absolutely can. So we have risk numbers from 1 to 79, like I searched for, less than 80, and then sector being technology. So if I wanted to narrow down my 293 results a little bit further, I could refine my search here in the box at the top. I could restart it or undo if you add a filter and you're like, oh no, wait, I want to take that back. You can also undo, and it will get you all of the same results and experience that you've seen before when using Discovery. And then all of the filters that we populate for you here under your search box can also be found in the left-hand column. So they're still there. You can click on it. You can turn different filters on or off based on what you want. And you can see the filters if you've used Discovery before. The same experience is over here on the left, but we've tried to make it a little faster and easier for you to cover there. So make it a little bit more based on natural language, a little bit more intelligent and easier to manage. So that is Discovery. Feel free to go in there and kind of test it out. Try searching for a few different things. And then with Discovery and security stats and portfolio stats, whenever you open up individual security or a client portfolio, we are now going to have some expanded trailing returns view. So here in Discovery, I'm going to scroll all the way to the right really quickly just to show you. We have trailing returns here from 3 months all the way to 10 years. So the 10-year return is new. So we have 1, 3, 5-year, and 10-year returns for trailing returns. And then if you're to open up a portfolio, you will also see uh, the trailing returns here in the upper right when you're looking at a portfolio. And I've called out our other newer feature that's going to be coming out soon whenever you're viewing a portfolio, and that is the partially illustrated trailing returns. So now, not only will we take out that little dash in the past when we didn't have enough history for a portfolio for you, we would just kind of like in A, the trailing returns. So now not only will you have 3-month to 10-year trailing returns, but we'll also show you a partially illustrated portfolio. So if you have 64% or anything less than 100% of a portfolio illustrated for the trailing returns, we'll highlight that. That will also show up in modeled performance when you're viewing modeled performance within stats. So that's for trailing returns. If you have younger securities, maybe that are less than 5 or 10 years old, we're still going to calculate those trailing returns for you, but we'll call out the fact that we're not illustrating 100% of the portfolio. But if you would like to still see trailing returns for 100% of the portfolio, for that full illustration, you can modify the settings in your stats. So I've pointed it out here. Again, once this rolls out, I believe in the coming weeks, you'll have that settings button on the right-hand side whenever you're viewing stats. You can choose in that trailing returns illustration setting whether you want the full illustration where we only show trailing returns when 100% of the holdings have data, or if you would like the partial illustration. So if we have trailing returns for certain periods, but it's for less than 100% of the portfolio, you can choose that partial illustration. So definitely check that out. Again, that'll be rolling out in the next few weeks, but you'll be able to come into security stats and portfolio stats and see that view. So yeah, those are what's new for Research Center with discovery and trailing returns. Next, let's take a look at what's new with Annuities and Planning Center. So for that, Ian, I'll pass it back over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a lot of new stuff to talk about here. So specifically with annuities and planning center, I really want to show right now how we can use these two things inside nitrogen together, right? And not just have them so siloed. So specifically with annuities, we've really been working on expanding our VA coverage and making that provider list a whole lot cleaner and just clearer for you to go through and find the products that you're looking for. But also, we've streamlined some of the account level metrics as well. So let's see exactly what that looks like after adding an annuity and going through that whole process. So here we have our client, Mike and Lisa Bennett. Currently, they are invested like Stephanie. Actually, if you don't mind going back to the overview really quick here, currently they're invested at like a 63. We can see their current risk number is a 53 here, so we might want to move them into something that's a little bit less risky, moving that risk number down a bit. But maybe they're also a little bit concerned about having enough guaranteed income as they move towards retirement. So let's see what adding an actual um, an actual FIA can do for that proposed portfolio, that recommendation that we're making, and showing them then inside retirement maps and income by source how that would look, and how that income would fare. So really quick, sorry, Stephanie, I know I'm bouncing you around here a bit, but let's go back to creating a brand new proposal here. So we'll go into the proposals. We'll click that plus button up there on the top right, or down here, new proposal draft. Either one works just fine. And then from there, we'll actually copy their current portfolio, and then we'll just make some quick changes there. So copy current there, and then we're going to move into adding that annuity account here really quickly. So first thing we're going to do, we're actually going to take this cash account here. So this $300,000, we're going to remove that account really quick, because we're going to take that 300,000 and put it into the FIA. So Stephanie, if you don't mind really quickly removing that guy for me, as I very poorly annotate over your screen here. And then we'll actually add now a brand new account. So you can come up here, click add account there. And then this is now where we'll start working on that annuity. So the very first thing Nitrogen is going to ask is, what type of account is this? And we want to select that annuity and insurance product account here. So we'll select that guy. And then from here, we can actually select our annuity type. So do we want to use that variable annuity, that fixed index annuity, or do we want to use, or sorry, do we want to use a MIGA, or do we want to use a variable? For now, we're going to use that indexed or variable annuity option there. And then here's what I'm talking about. We've really cleaned up this process a lot. We've made the provider list a whole lot more clear. And Stephanie, let's go ahead and select a product here. So we'll do the American Equity Investment Life Insurance there. And then we're looking for that Asset Shield 10. So that very first one should be there. And then now we'll be able to select those sub accounts. For this one, I'm going to go with that Asset Shield 10, the S&P Index one. I think we're scrolling down here a little bit there, Stephanie. Keep going. We'll find it there. And then we'll do that rate 1 year. So the index part, rate 1 year there. Select that sub account and then click next. Now from here, another change that we've made is, how do you want to reflect the income for this annuity? We've made this a whole lot simpler. Do you want to use income rider or do you not? For now, let's select income rider, because we want to show that guaranteed income inside planning center. So we'll select that, and now we can enter the few inputs here about the contract itself. So it's going to be that $300,000. It'll be a start year of 2055 there. And then that income withdrawal rate will do 4%. And then for now, we're not going to have the withdrawal base rider increase at all. We'll leave that as 0, but just know that you can use that slider there to make adjustments. We also have optional fees here, so like M&E, those death benefit fees, and etc. But we'll select next here, and the next thing that it's going to ask you is, how do you want to distribute or allocate across these sub accounts that you selected? We only selected the one, so really either way, it doesn't matter too much, but we'll select distribute evenly across all sub accounts here. But just know that you do have the option to manually allocate there. So now we have this account created with this annuity FIA account created. We have now at the top here for these annuity accounts, annuity details. So a much more streamlined view of just the important information you need to know about this annuity. So that income rider, how much that's going to be monthly, that income start year, and then that 6 month return as well. Now, the cool thing is we can also show how this is going to impact their overall road to retirement, right? So if we want to move into the planning center now, we can see how this annuity has potentially changed their guaranteed income. So really quickly, as we move into Planning Center, again, you saw Stephanie click on that Planning Center tab up there. You can navigate into first the retirement map. You may, for the first time, if you when you hop into a retirement map, you may need to enter a few of these details here. We have them pre-populated mostly because we've captured that risk number and we have a current portfolio or proposal. So a lot of this is going to be done for you. From there, really what you need to do is decide, okay, what is that monthly savings going to look like, and what is the retirement monthly withdrawal going to look like, and then you'll be able to generate a graph. Really quickly, Stephanie, let's go ahead and make sure that we have that correct proposed portfolio selected there. So we'll do proposals here, select that 66 up there, click apply, and then we'll be able to see this new proposed portfolio that we've generated on the retirement map. Now, once we've done this, we'll see on the timeline that actual income event where that income rider is coming in here. So 2055 is where we selected that. So you'll see that asset shield 10 right there. And you might be noticing, okay, well, the probability here is kind of low. What's going on with that? The cool thing about retirement maps is it's actually going to give you some dynamic suggestions on how you can improve that. So over here, maybe you save more, maybe you retire a little later or withdraw only 5,400 per month. Now for this map specifically, we have a few expense events as well. So you'll notice that withdrawal event there, like that RV purchase. So maybe you could come in here and have that conversation around maybe that's not going to work where it is, or maybe we need to think about something else. So really cool way to illustrate that guaranteed income, when that income is going to start here for this client. Now, maybe we want to actually show, okay, after we've gotten to retirement and we want to start talking about that decumulation, where is that money actually coming from? We can swap over into income by source here. So we'll swap over there really quickly. And now we can show, okay, exactly where is this money coming from? What is guaranteed and what is not guaranteed? Inside this income by source view, by default, what it's going to do is automatically pull from those taxable accounts. So we have like our investment portfolio, the brokerage account, and then we're going to move into non-taxable and then non-asset based income for that sort of order of operations on how we're drawing down these accounts. Really quickly, Stephanie, let's go ahead and mute these two investment accounts as well as that 401k. So if you hover up over these chips here, you can click that little mute button. We'll mute everything that's not green. Essentially, what we're doing is muting the income that is not guaranteed so that we can show, okay, how well are we going to do once we get to retirement? How much of our guaranteed income is going to cover our income need here, which is this black line. So really cool way to show that, okay, we're going to be taking from that pension, of course, that social security, and now we have the asset shield 10 coming into play at 2055 here, bumping up that guaranteed income even more. So really cool way to illustrate, of course, the accumulation phase and decumulation phase, but showing where that guaranteed income is coming from. Now, a really cool thing that is coming, again, a lot of this stuff is so hot off the press, we don't have the actual in nitrogen view for you guys, but we're going to swap over to a slide here really quick to show. We're actually working on coming very soon here, adding stress tests into the planning center. So those really awesome stress tests that you would normally see inside of a portfolio to have conversations around those black swan events, stuff like the 2008 bear market, the financial crisis, or maybe even the 2013 bull market. You can show how a portfolio would fare in these market conditions if they were to occur again. Something coming up here really soon is you're going to have access to enter stress test events directly to the timeline down here. So you'll see we've added this 2008 bear market stress test to show what the implication and impact of that would be to this portfolio if this event were to occur again. So really cool thing to illustrate there and have conversations and set expectations around those type of events. And you'll be able to actually, just like we showed you, mute and unmute those chips or those tiles. You'll be able to come in here and mute those events to really quickly show, dynamically show how that's going to impact the overall probability of success. So Stephanie, really quick, if you go to the next slide here, it'll show that the event's been muted, and you'll now see that, okay, we're doing pretty good now on that probability of success there. And not only will you be able to show it in the retirement map view, but you will also be able to show it in that income by source view. So you'll be able to show it both in both phases, right? That accumulation and decumulation phase. If we apply one of those 2008 bear market events after retirement, how is that going to impact us, and what is that going to look like for things like the portfolio longevity, the annual income, and are we going to be still meeting that need there, that black line, right? So a lot of really cool updates and things coming to both annuities. A lot of the annuity stuff is ready for you guys to use. And then the planning center stuff coming very, very soon. But I really wanted to go over that workflow and show, sort of cohesively how you can use these tools together. So that is planning center and annuities. That was a lot of words. Stephanie, I know we got to get moving here. So I'm going to pass it over to you for our brand new AI tax center.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Ian. So yes, lots in Planning Center. So hopefully you'll be seeing that very soon if you have that with your subscription. The new, very new AI Tax Center, if you add that onto your existing subscription, you'll be able to get some really nice AI-powered tax insights. So if you add that to your subscription, you'll see this new taxes tab populate in your client profile. So when I click on the taxes, this takes me to the sort of tax snapshot. Now, once AI Tax Center it is initiated or set up in your account, before you get this snapshot here, you would be able to upload a client tax document. Ian, I want to say it's like a 1040. Yes, there we go. I just
Mhm.
checked my notes. So you'll be able to upload a 1040 right into Nitrogen here in a client profile. The AI will do its magic and then create this snapshot for you. So you'll be able to come in and see 2025 summary or like an annual summary, income information over on the right, and just lots of detailed tax information, tax brackets, federal tax, state tax. There's just a lot here. So it's really cool to be able to get this sort of summary here. A lot of it is above my knowledge level, but I'm sure many of you out there will kind of understand this, and hopefully it'll bring lots of valuable talking points to your client conversations. In addition to the snapshot feature right here in the client profile, you'll also get this insights tab. So this would allow you to have some talking points for your next meeting. So are there some insights? Are there some things that we need to talk about? Tax loss harvesting, healthcare tax benefits, charitable giving. Like maybe there are a few things that the AI tool has identified that should be at the top of the list when it comes to reviewing with your clients. So that is both the snapshot and insights that would be available with the AI Tax Center. Again, that can be added to your subscription. So we will make sure to drop a link in the chat where you can get more information on AI Tax Center if that is is of interest to you. So that's AI Tax Center. Next up, we'll keep going on that AI train. Ian, I'll pass it over to you to talk with us a little bit more about the updates and improvements coming to AI Meeting Center.
Yeah, absolutely. Love the tax center stuff. I think this tool is going to be really cool. Again, super, super new. If you guys want to get access, definitely keep an eye out in the chat there. We'll be dropping some information on how to get how to get access there. And moving on into meetings. So, if you haven't heard already, we recently launched our AI meetings tool, a homegrown tool here at Nitrogen that allows you to basically capture and summarize all of those client notes. And it connects directly to your calendar. So, you can access meetings inside on your header here. You'll see that meetings tab. Again, this is a brand new feature. So, we'll be dropping more in the chat for this one as well if you want to get access to this guy. But really, the whole idea about around meetings is it helps you, right? It's that AI helper. It helps you stay focused in those client meetings, um, furthering those relationships while not being distracted while taking notes, right? It's there to help you handle all of that documentation. So it's a really cool tool. We're making improvements. It is still brand new, but some new stuff coming in just a moment. I just wanted to call out. So if you do have access to Meeting Center, you can come in here. This would be where your meeting view is. You can come into your settings there. If you click on that guy, you'll see here that you can connect it to your calendar, your Google Calendar there. We also have the ability to connect it to video conferencing and the CRM integration as well. So really cool tool. To have again that documentation captured for you. Now, some new stuff that is coming for AI Meeting Center is one, we're also going to be showing this inside of a client profile. So, if a client is connected to a meeting, you'll be able to come here to their meetings tab up here and view, okay, what exactly has happened in the past, what past meetings are connected here, and it's going to populate the meeting for you as well as some notes for you to review that the AI captured for you. So a really cool way to look back and see and review those notes without having to scramble and trying to find all that stuff. But another thing that's really cool here, and this is something that I'm super excited about, is the meeting prep. So not only are we capturing those notes for you now, the meeting prep side of things is going to uh, basically take all of those meeting insights as well as the portfolio proposal, the entire client profile here, and it's going to help you prepare for an upcoming meeting by providing talking points. So very similar to sort of how we reviewed that AI discovery. You can come in here and prompt the AI to give you some financial notes, give you some talking points here, and quickly, create a summary for yourself to review. So if we go to, yeah, exactly, perfect. Thanks, Stephanie. The next one here, you'll see after prompting, you'll get some talking points, right? So it's going to give you a pretty bolded list here of things that you should probably review in that upcoming meeting, right? So, based on her current risk alignment, here are some highlights there. We are, making a note here to emphasize downside risk reduction. Maybe you've done a lot of work there, diversifying the portfolio. So, we'll give you some even metrics to go over here, like max drawdown, 6 month range, diversification and or standard deviation there as well. So just a lot of really high level insights, but it just allows you to build and be ready for meetings there super quickly. So super excited about this. Again, this is coming very, very soon. I believe we're looking uh, towards mid to late November for this to be released. But if you guys want to get more information, definitely check out the chat there. We'll be dropping that information for you guys on how to get access to this. So that is AI Meeting Center in a nutshell. A lot of new and cool improvements so far. Stephanie, I know we're coming up on time here, so I want to pass it over to you for some quick resources, and then we'll get into Q&A for all of those awesome questions you guys have been asking.
Yeah, awesome. So yes, let's pop some resources up here on the screen really quickly before we dive into our Q&A. So you always have that help button in the bottom right-hand corner of Nitrogen. Check out the video guides in there. We have announcements. So if you want to see the latest and greatest and get the latest news on Nitrogen, click on that help button, view the announcements tab in there. You can also always email support@nitrogenwealth.com to contact our team. So feel free to use any of those training resources. For our upcoming events, we're going to have boot camp happening November 10th through 14th. So we have a newer sort of week-long boot camp event going on. So you can get a little bit each day. So feel free to scan that QR code or visit our website to find out more about boot camp and get registered for that free event coming up. Again, we'll also share a survey at our session today, so feel free to complete that for us. We'd love to hear your feedback. And then now let's jump into Q&A. So we'll kick things off, and I believe we're having a special guest join us. So we will jump into your questions. Be sure to drop those in the bottom of your Zoom panel here in the Q&A section. and we'll dive into questions.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you, everybody. We'll jump into some questions in just a moment. Really quickly, we do have a special guest joining us for our Q&A here. So coming on in is Mark Bivens, our lead product manager here at Nitrogen. Really excited to have Mark join us. We'll be tossing him a few questions. I know a lot of the stuff we went over today is so new, so maybe a few roadmap questions there for you, Mark. Mark, how you doing today?
Hey, good guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here. We'll get right into it to stay on time here. So the very first question, Mark, I'm actually going to pass to you since you love annuities so much. It is an annuity question. So
Perfect.
if the annuity feature that is to show basically protection from risk, right? So that we're minimizing risk there.
Mhm,
Where do those risk numbers come from? If we're seeing stuff like 15, 16, should it
mhm.
be risk number one?
Yeah, really, really good question. A lot of differences of opinion on this one, and so the spot that we've landed is that there are a couple of inherent risks with those products. Right, there's some counterparty risks, reinsurance risks, things like that. There's also some opportunity cost that's factored into that, as there are with most other investment types that are on our platform. What I will say is there are, if you've got different philosophies, you could still put custom investments in those accounts and in those portfolios as part of your annuities. But yeah, with indexed annuities, we acknowledge that there is some risk. We acknowledge that there is more risk than you would think of, like T bills, government issued bonds, things like that are typically going to be in your 1 to 5 range. They're going to sit right on top of those in terms of the risk totem pole. Is how we look at it, and there's certainly if we want to go deeper on those conversations, please reach out. We can certainly go through the individual data points and individual product coverage, but that's the gist of it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. On to the
Cool.
next one here. So, Stephanie, I'll actually have you share your screen again really quick if you don't mind, because I'm going to jump us into Discovery. Like we were showing earlier, we have a lot of new improvements to Discovery with the AI, allowing you to use that natural language to apply filters there. We had a great question come in asking basically, is there a way to categorize your favorites in Discovery? If not, can we get a feature like that? So, really cool suggestion. Really love that. For everyone on the meeting here, just want to call that out again. So if you go to Discovery, you can again apply those filters using natural language, or you can just jump into browse all securities. So Stephanie, let's just browse securities for now. And then you have a bunch of filters here, one of which you can actually come in and apply a favorite, or you can star each one of these securities to save inside of your favorites filter or tab, essentially. Um, and so, what this question is kind of trying to get to is, can you then further categorize your favorites within that sort of filter? No, not currently, but I think probably a really good suggestion. We'll definitely add that to the list there. Mark, anything you want to add there on Discovery?
Absolutely. Was just in one of these conversations with my counterpart talking about effectively, what we need to do? We need to start giving you the ability to just make lists, right? Sounds pretty simple, but it seems like a very useful part of this and something that's very hot on our radar right now. Is the ability to create different subsets via search and discovery that I can give names and even compare things within those subsets or those lists and across lists, right? So maybe I've got a list of ETFs, a list of mutual funds, and a list of models that have certain attributes, and I want to compare all of those cross functionally. A lot of cool stuff that we're thinking about there. Look for that here early in 2026 as we really hope to kick off some of that work pretty soon. So more to come there. Love that idea, and that's right up our alley.
Yeah, really good idea. Thanks, Mark. Stephanie, I'm actually going to pass this one to you because while we're in Discovery, we just had a question come in. What other filters can you actually apply in the Discovery feature? We went over the AI filtering, but do you mind showing everyone what other filters are available here really quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. So like we showed earlier, if you come in, you can simply just type out a description here, technology stocks or a certain expense ratio or so on and so forth. But if you click this sort of upside down pyramid on the left, that'll open up the available filters. So if you need a little bit of inspiration for how you want to filter in Discovery, you can do so by risk number, GPA, this whole list here. So I think it's close to 15 or 20 different filters. So these are all the things that you can search through and filter by when you're navigating Discovery.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. Moving on into sort of the next section for Q&A here. Stephanie, if you don't mind pulling up a client inside Planning Center really quick. We had a question come in asking, basically, when it comes to the monthly withdrawal amount, is how does that work? Can you maybe reflect that quarterly, as well as monthly or annually? So right now, you can use that input at the bottom of your retirement map here, for a monthly withdrawal. So currently, you can't make this a quarterly thing or annual thing, but really good product idea. Again, something that we could add to our list there. But just know that you can come in here, sort of change those inputs, and dynamically see how that chart or that graph will change for us. Anything from the team on that, as far as planning center inputs, retirement monthly withdrawal, any nuance there?
I think that's pretty good. That that drawer on the right side that pulls out when you go in there. Obviously, you can do other expenses and incomes. And those can be over different time frames as well. So just keep in mind you've got those that have a little bit more flexibility. But yeah, that baseline retirement monthly withdrawal is just that, right? What are my monthly living expenses? And then you've got other above the line things that you can enter over there on the right side. So uh, doesn't take away from the fact that it's a good idea. Something we can look into changing some of those time frames as well on the baseline withdrawals.
Absolutely. Yeah, great call out. Okay, on to the next one. Mark, this is kind of a weighted question, kind of a big one, but I wanted to call out here just really quick. As far as security measures go and how we retain data when it comes to scanning those tax returns, can you add any color there? Is there anything that we can provide as a team, to everyone for that information?
To save everyone from a very long and boring diatribe. Anybody that's interested, I've spent actually most of my morning again today working on our AI Tax Center compliance FAQ. So a document that just kind of goes through that question as well as some others just around data security, P2 information, all the other things that you're concerned with our tools. We can send that out. So let us know if you need that. And for the person that asked that question, I think we took your name down. We'll send that over so you can
Yeah,
have a look.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to keep us on the topic of taxes for now, Mark. So, when it comes to Roth conversions, anything on the roadmap for that? Anything that you could speak to when it comes to that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely again another one that's hot on our radar as kind of the next step with taxes, right? So we're just finishing up the initial build of getting this product out and useful. The very next thing that's going to be happening is the print version. So you should be able to put that tax snapshot into a reports builder report. That's coming up right on the heels of the initial build. And then, yeah, in early 2026, we'll be looking into the Roth conversion piece of this, right? So, what that means is identify Roth conversion uh, analytics from the previous year. How do we project that out to the next year? What things can I do to help save more money on taxes? A lot goes into that. Very obviously a very complicated thing. Hence the question. We're definitely wanting to have that as part of Tax Center. So we've got a lot to consider there, but we'll start. We're in the process of scoping that out. Stay tuned in 2026. So that's definitely something that we'll be working on.
Awesome. Okay, one more on Tax Center here. Again, maybe a little bit of a weighted question. Do you see this new Tax Center as a replacement to Holistiplan? How do you see it being used by advisors that already have Holistiplan?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a couple of things. One, I do see this as a pretty good replacement for Holistiplan. I think one of the big advantages, just the way that this lives within nitrogen, right next to all the other things that you're doing with proposals and investment analytics and research. It has a nice natural fit in that same ecosystem, so you're not having to go back and forth. You've got, or you will have one report that you can generate, one nice, neat, clean PDF. I think that's a good value add. I think we're also packing a lot into it for the price. So I think we're competing on not just features, but also value there. And so I think there's a lot to like and a lot to examine just in your tech stack as far as how you like that broken out. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff in there that we think is pretty compelling at that price point.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Okay,
Cool.
I know we're coming up on team time here. I want to make sure we get to these questions. So, one more question. Let's see, Steffi, I'm actually going to pass this one your way. So, we had a question regarding scanning client statements. Not something we necessarily went over today in great detail, but do you mind calling that out and where people can access that?
Yeah, sure. So if you're wanting to scan client statements, let me pull up our portfolio here really quickly. We recommend doing that in the current portfolio section. So if you have an account or if you don't have an account, um, you can sort of initiate that account creation process. When you add an account and select the fund stock another account type, you may see this upload file or import file option. So if you see this upload file option for bringing in statements, that means you have access to the AI statement tool where you can upload PDFs or spreadsheets. If you see an import file option, you can upload spreadsheets. So not yet PDFs, but it should be outlined here whenever you add an account, what type of files you can import or bring in for client statements and the like. So that would be inside of portfolios.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. On to the next question here. So we had a question regarding our AI meeting center. So if you don't mind navigating there really quick for me, Stephanie, the question was, does it integrate with anything? And where do those notes go? Are they going to feed into a CRM, anything like that? So great question. Um, you can integrate this with your calendar. So of course, connecting it to like your Google Calendar here, video conferencing as well. So if you want to connect it to your Zoom, to I believe Teams or Meet, you can connect that there. And then CRM integration is available through Redtail, Salesforce, and Wealthbox as well. So definitely check those out as well. If you guys want to get access to, I believe the team had dropped some information regarding AI Meeting Center there. And let's see, I want to make sure that we got all these questions marked off here. Um, okay, actually, one more regarding discovery. And Mark, I might toss this your way. The question is, have you considered filtering investments by exclusions, for example, applying some form of screening for value-based investing?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, another very timely. This is great. I'm getting questions on stuff that I've been working on all day. So yeah, we are actually in the process of implementing about 50 or so more filter options in that list. That should be one of them as well. I'll have to go back. It's a long list. My counterpart's actually the one that's working on those. I'm 95% sure that's one of that list, and so many other things. So as you're doing that natural language search and telling exactly what you're trying to drill down to, that'll give you just about any kind of search filter that you could want. So yeah, that's an option that is coming up. We're just breaking ground on that work. So give us a few weeks, and that will be ready. Next time we have a launch event, we can talk you through that.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Okay, we're coming up on time here. We have just about a minute left here. One thing I want to call out today was recorded. That recording will be coming to you guys via email after today's session. And if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us, coaching at nitrogenwealth.com. We're always happy to take your questions and get you some answers there. And Mark, Stephanie, thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate the Q&A session, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.